All right, hello and welcome to another edition of the Rhythm Rundown with myself, Josh Applebaum, my partner in crime, one of the sharpest guys I know, Mr. Cade Harper. And Cade, March Madness fully upon us, my friend. And I was thinking, you know what? What if we do something kind of fun? What if we do a lightning round, basically going through every single Sweet 16 game? We got a huge round of 4 games for Thursday, 4 more on Friday. We're going to spend an hour here going through each game individually. I think it'll be just kind of a fun example, Kate, of how we use Rhythm to our advantage, how we look at the betting market and you setting your own numbers, comparing them to the Rhythm edges here, and just trying to find the smartest bet possible that we can make. So really excited to kind of just walk through each one, Kate. We'll talk about, is there any value? First off, what's going on in the betting market with all these games? What did the line open at? How has it moved or not moved? That's also a great indicator of smart money. If you have kind of a line freeze situation, which a couple of these games do have in terms of like heavy betting one side, but the line hasn't moved. We got some contrarian opportunities. I have a team, Cade, that I really wanted to bet on. And then I looked at the splits and I said, man, this team is a freaking trendy dog. So I don't know if I can go there with this team, but really looking forward to breaking down all these games, picking off some good numbers, and seeing if we can cash some tickets here. So Cade, how you doing, my friend? And let me just throw this at you because I wanted to mention this, and it kind of made me a little wary going into the NCAA tournament because for so many years, you get to March Madness, you take the contrarian dogs, you profit very well. You take the unders, you profit very well. Because remember, the public is coming in this time of year, hammering all the favorites, hammering all the overs, and typically going the other way, being on the side of the book against the public has been a big moneymaker. Okay, there was one day where wasn't it favorites 16-0 straight up in one of those days?
Chalk. Yeah.
All
Yeah.
chalk, all chalk. So I have the numbers for you here. Entering the Sweet 16, favorites in March Madness are 30-22 against the spread, 58%. That should be the other way, Kate. It should be dogs hitting 58%, not faves. Favorites are winning 77% of these games, 40-12 straight up, and slightly overs are 26-25, basically 50-50 with the totals. But I'll toss it to you, man. So far going to the tournament, I'm not going to ask you, okay, what was your favorite game? What was your best win, your worst loss? But overall, what is your feeling going to the Sweet 16? Obviously, Florida getting knocked off was huge. But how about this trend of, man, just not great for contrarian bettors like me, where favorites are covering 58% of the time and kind of on the heels of a big favorite tournament last year as well?
Yeah, I think because it's so funny. My whole philosophy, I've tried to be as contrarian as I can, but in brackets like this or just months like this, it's honestly so hard to just because there's so many trendy dogs. Like people want to see upsets, or people just think that certain teams are going to get blown out of the water. Like you see these random spreads, like we're seeing one seeds being favored over by like 6 points or whatnot over teams that are like 4 seeds, 5 seeds, seven. I mean, these 5 seeds and 7 seeds, like they're very good. It's not like they're bad teams. Like it's insane how high some of these numbers are, and people are just absolutely playing the crap out of them. And I don't know. I think I've got a little bit lucky because I mean I don't think I've been as contrarian as I'd really expected to be. I think I played decently well. I know we're up a little bit in the bracket right now currently, so I'm not going to complain about that, but definitely not what I expected going in, just based off of how bad like chalk last year was. Kind of expected a little bit of a bounce back year for the dogs this year because I did like a lot of the mid majors and the higher seeds, but here we are in the Sweet 16, and it's pretty much the same story.
Yeah, and that's frustrating. I think, you got to kind of just be flexible here. Like, I think you want to stay true to foundational philosophies that have proven to be successful over time, but also you got to be aware of things changing in the market. Like, I read a really good article from David Purdom, who writes for ESPN Gambling, and he was talking about how and I want to think about, Kate, like, don't just tell me the numbers of, oh, favorites are covering, at a 58% clip. It used to be dogs at that number. You go back 3 or 4 or 5 years, 10 years. Then you got to ask yourself, okay, why? What's the reason why we're seeing, a big shift in the market here from dogs barking to dogs getting taken to the woodshed? What's the reasoning behind it? You could say maybe it's fluky, because again, if favorites are, minus 6.5 and maybe they're up by, 5 with a minute left and they dunk, a meaningless bucket, it makes it a 7-point game. They cover, but maybe you made a great call on the dog. Like there are games like that where maybe you just have an unlucky ending. But I'm thinking the thought process here, which with that David Page Purdom article I read, is like the new college landscape with NIL. This is what kind of makes sense to me. You have basically a free for all here where the biggest programs are paying for the best players. So if you are a college kid, Cade, me and you are 18 years old. I'm the Gatorade Massachusetts Player of the Year, point guard, and you're the Ohio Gatorade Player of the Year, small forward. Where are we going to go play basketball in college? We're going to go maybe like, if there's some, I don't know, sentimental, your dad went here, you want to go there, or whatever, or stay in your hometown. But no, you're probably going to go to the team that's giving you the most money. So the best players are going to the teams that pay them the most. So maybe that's a reason why, like prior to the NIL, we were a little bit more equal footing where maybe the best players, yeah, they'd go to Duke, they'd go to Kentucky, but now it's like they're only going to Duke and Kentucky. So I'm thinking just off the top of my head, maybe that's a reason why we're seeing these dogs. They don't bark as loud because they're not getting as good players and they can't pay for them and they're going to go to other teams. So who knows? Maybe that's part of it. But anyway, Cade, that being said, we got more games to bet on. Also, happy MLB opening day because I know we got Yankees and Giants here. And I want to mention, of course, let's see if I can share my screen and show everybody the Rithmm homepage. I'm not going to talk, or we're not going to really hit on baseball tonight, Cade. I just want to show everybody that baseball is available within the Rithmm app here. So if you want to bet Yankees Giants tonight, let's see if we got for any models. I actually got to dust off my models here and get them going. I just have the house models. But remember, we have MLB locked and loaded if you want to start betting MLB today. And of course, huge opening day here for tomorrow. As always, we'd love for you guys to download Rithmm, tell a friend about Rithmm, click the refer a friend up here at the top. You both get a little sweetener, give it a 7-day free trial. And then if you'd like to keep it, here's a promo code to use, START25. That'll get you 25% off your Rithmm account. And then shout out to those brackets, the bracket generator that Rithmm put out. So I'm seeing a lot of people who have done pretty well here by tailing these brackets that Rithmm has produced. With that being said, Cade, let's not lament, or I'm not going to, because again, I'm thinking about all these games. I took the dogs and they were sharp. They're getting 30%. They went 7.5 to 6.5. They lose by 20. I feel like that happened way too much for me in the NCAA tournament so far. I will say though, Iowa took Iowa 10.5K. They won outright. That's the kind of play you love to see right there. But anyway, let's get right into it because we don't want to waste any more time. We got all these great games coming up tomorrow and over the next couple days. So let's get right to it. Let's go to all of our games here. We can go to see all, and we'll just go one by one, Cade. So let's start off with the early game tomorrow, Texas and Purdue. Now, this one's interesting for a variety of reasons. Texas, kind of a darling. This is a team that barely made it into the NCAA tournament. They've won a couple games outright as dogs. They're playing great, even though their record, told you that maybe they shouldn't even be in the tournament. But all that matters is getting in and then using that house money to be a Cinderella in advance. But they are now playing a Purdue team that we all expected to be here and is playing great as well. This one's interesting to me, Cade, because if you look at what's kind of happening across the market, the public is leaning toward Texas a little bit here because we've seen, hey, they've won all these games outright. 7.5. We know Purdue's good, but 7.5, it's kind of a big number here. You might as well take the points. Maybe Purdue wins this game, but I don't know if they're going to cover this number. And what we're seeing is Texas as a bit of a trendy dog here. They're getting more than 50% of spread bets at DraftKings. Again, I'll caveat that by saying these trendy dogs have been decent here, which is infuriating. But let's look at the line movement, Cade. I mean, you saw most books open Purdue minus 7.5. Some books are juicing up to 7.5 toward Purdue. Some books got down to 6.5. This kind of is bopped back and forth. But there are a few books that are maybe inching back toward 8 or have touched 8. So what I'm thinking is if Texas has been a great team to bet on in the tournament, they've been a great story here of a team that didn't expect to do anything, and they're in the dancing in the Sweet 16. Why not take them with the points? I think that's kind of the public mindset. But we're actually seeing an opportunity here to maybe fade a trendy dog. I'm leaning toward laying the points with Purdue here, Cade, because Rithmm is showing us the fact that we have all these models lining up all in one side with Purdue minus 7.5. So the first model has Purdue minus 7.9. The second model has Purdue minus 7.8. And the third model here has Purdue minus 8.1. So all of these models are lining up pretty nicely here with Purdue, maybe to kind of reestablish some dominance and maybe have Texas just kind of bring them back down to earth here. That makes a little bit of sense. Ken Palm does have Purdue winning by 8, so 7.5. You win by 8, covered by the skin of your teeth. Better offensive efficiency for Purdue, first versus 15th. Better effective field goal percentage, 9th versus 71st. They shoot the three better, 8th versus 129th. Better defensive efficiency, 33rd versus 81st. And they turn it over less on offense. Basically, Purdue takes better care of the ball, 18th versus 73rd. You also look at Circa, Cade, 50% bets, 65% of the money is on Purdue. So this is the first game that kind of caught my eye. I'm like, okay, I know nothing about this game. If I'm walking into it blind, take the Longhorns and the points. But Rithmm is saying maybe you should fade this trendy dog and lay it with Purdue. I'll teach it, or I'll throw it over to you here, Cade. What are your thoughts on Texas and Purdue, first game of the Sweet 16 tomorrow?
Yeah, I'll be honest. I didn't really have anything in this game only because I'm holding the Purdue future of the Natty ticket and the Final Four ticket. So if anything, I might just play Texas money line like super small just to see if I can guarantee myself something there a little bit. Which Sweet 16 is kind of when I start to target my hedges a lot, unless if I have a good one in the last round, which I had a few of them available to me there, but nonetheless. Didn't have anything here, but I'll leave with a note. The Big Ten feels like they've kind of ran March in a way. And I mean, they are 11-5 against the spread in this year's tournament. Over the last 3 years in the tournament, they're 34-19 against the spread. That's the best out of any conference. And when we're added, sprinkle it on when they're favored, like when they're listed as favorites, they're 27-9 against the spread. So you can trust the conference, you can trust the teams. The teams have great offenses and they have really, really, really good defenses. Texas is a very fast-paced team. I like what Sean Miller has done there, but Purdue's a different animal, and this is the highest rated offense in the tournament. And offense win games in this tournament a lot, which Texas does not have the defense to be able to keep up, I don't think. So should be Purdue large. I would assume so. Nonetheless, it's not every day where you see Rithmm backing a pretty slightly big favorite. So anytime that I see that, it's definitely a little bit eye opening for me. So as a future holder, I'm liking it, but I can't play it. I can't, as a future holder, so I'm probably just going to take my hedge.
Yeah, and I think to your point, like this is one of these games here where it's like you really just got to trust the data because your bias, your eyes as a basketball fan tell you, hey, this kid, Texas went outright. They've been doing that as a dog so far in the tournament. They could easily cover this number. But as always, the goal of Rithmm is to take away that bias, take away that favoritism. Don't believe your lying eyes here, Cade. Believe what the numbers are telling you. They're not going to be right every time. But if you lean numbers over your eyes long term, I think that's going to be really profitable or far more profitable than just going off of kind of what your gut instinct is telling you. So that's the first game, obviously, to hit on tonight, but really the first game where, man, the market and these Rithmm system matches here are both saying don't take the obvious dog, trendy dog in the points. Think about Purdue here. And these are one of these games too, kid, where you talk yourself into betting Purdue because, man, I just got to trust this data. They win by 20, and you're like, man, I'm glad I didn't go with my eyes and I went with the data there. So first one jumped out to us both, Purdue here, and great note by you, Cade, with the Big Ten doing great covering these numbers. Let's go to the second game tomorrow. And Cade, let me tell you, I love this one. It's not clear from a Rithmm perspective, but this one's very interesting here. Iowa and Nebraska. Now, Iowa, actually, Nebraska, let's flip it the other way. Nebraska is your 4 seed. Iowa is your 9 seed. So Nebraska, 4 seed against a 9. Nebraska's only laying 1.5. Seems like an easy play here to go Nebraska. I'm going to take the points with Iowa here, Cade. Now, this is a tough one because it's not as clear of an obvious play like we just talked about with Purdue, with all of those Rithmm system matches lining up with Purdue, couple green stars, lay it all on one side. There's a bit of a disagreement here between the betting market and what Rithmm is predicting. So this is always kind of an automatic caution. Like I want the market to align with what Rithmm is telling me. Like we got that with Purdue because it was kind of trendy. Texas, the splits were looking better. Purdue, Rithmm said take Purdue. The reason why I'm going to go Iowa here on the first, kind of inclination or reasoning is that the line is going toward Iowa because we opened this one Purdue about -3, -2.5, with Nebraska -3, -2.5. This line's down to 1.5, Cade. You might be able to find a 2 out there still, but it's very clear that this line is moving toward Iowa. Then you go to the splits, and this is what makes me really like Iowa. Right now at DraftKings, 65% of spread bets are on Nebraska. So Nebraska is the public play, yet the line is dropping toward Iowa. So automatically, one of the best market indicators, again, not going to win every time, but historically profitable long term if you consistently play it when you see it, is following this reverse line movement. So again, you take a step back, you think about the odds makers. If they're getting 65% of tickets, 2/3 of bets in a extremely heavily bet game on Team A, why are they dropping the number to make it easier for the public to win on Team A? Always think about that. If a popular team, the number is getting better for you, that should kind of be a scary thing. Like, oh, you want to lay a 3, 2.5? Here, now you only have to lay a 1.5. Unless there's an injury, why is that happening? Tells me smart money here came in on Iowa plus the points. I jumped on Iowa plus 2.5, so it's a little different. And the key here with Rithmm is these are the predictions or recommendations based on what the market is right now. But if you had bet something earlier and you're getting CLV, that makes it a little bit more complicated. But a couple things: contrarian play, 7:30 o'clock, 7:30 p.m. on TBS, so heavily bet prime time. You look at DraftKings, only 35% of bets are on Iowa, but you get a load of this, Cade. At circa 24% bets, 78% of the dollars on Iowa. Big, heavy bet split there from the sharps in Vegas on the Hawkeyes. Iowa has the better offensive efficiency, 25th versus 52nd. Better effective field goal percentage, 18th versus 27th. Better free throw shooting, which is key in these games, 39th versus 75th. And then again, you're looking at a team which is interesting to me, Cade. Like Iowa knocks off Florida, you would think the public would say, man, you just beat Florida? You can easily beat Nebraska. But no, they're actually saying Nebraska here is the easy play, laying the points. Now, why is this a hard bet? Because Rithmm is kind of going the other way against me. They have Nebraska minus 1.7, Nebraska minus 3.3, Nebraska minus 3.8. And this, I guess this could cash, Cade, as long as it's, by 1 point or 2 points or less, because I'm on 2.5 Iowa. But we do have a green star, we must admit, on Nebraska money line here. So if you tell me you like Nebraska money line, Rithmm is with you. That gets you excited. I'm going to go with this RLM play on Iowa. Again, I got him 2.5 here, Cade. Let me toss it to you. Did you get in on this game earlier this week? What do you think of the Rithmm models here? Are you going to get a good price on Nebraska money line, or are you going to think about taking the points, maybe try to get a 2 or more if you can find it on Iowa?
Yeah, I took a little bit of a different route, and I played on the under in this one. Couldn't pick a side. I tossed and turned a lot about this one, but the opening total is what I got, which was 135.5. And now that it's sitting at 131, we're good. Wipe the hands, like we're good.
Well done, brother.
We're good, No, there's a lot of system matches to this play. A lot of the times, first of all, Sweet 16 unders are bread and butter for those of you who don't know, because you play these round 1, these round 2 games, they're absolute mouth breathers, right? Like it's just, some of them are either a snooze fest, some of them are absolutely electric. Both of these teams are coming off of like literal escape artist type of games where they could have lost in the last 3 seconds. Both of them. Great games though, by the way. Off extended rest though, I mean, these teams, they're coming off of, Iowa's coming off of putting up 73 on Florida, obviously, and winning outright. Their defense held Florida to 72, though, which is very eye-catching as it is. Florida is not a 70-point scoring team whatsoever. Looking at Nebraska, Nebraska's pretty much lit up the scoreboard all year. They have one of the better perimeter shooting offenses in the country. And even Vandy, Vandy's an electrifying offense with Tyler Tanner, all those guys. That was a phenomenal game. I love that. And they put up 74 and let up 72. So offenses are kind of like, I don't want to say thriving, but they're doing somewhat decent for a neutral court standpoint. What I'm looking at is the past history. These are Big Ten teams. They've already met each other twice. This is the third meeting this year, much less literally this year. I get in the last probably month, because they played in February and they also played in March, like in a regular season. And I think Iowa actually got the first match And I mean, whatever. The most recent one was back in March. Nebraska won. It was 84-75. So high total. That total was sitting at 136. So roughly the same exact total as this. And they soar like 40 points over the total. The game before that, Iowa won 57-52. And the total was 139. Like, it feels like a boomer bust game. And give me a neutral court where teams are very good at rebounding, much less insanely slow pace. Holy cow. Like below, like we're talking like below like mid 60s here. Like slower than molasses. It's like take a tortoise or the slowest animal that you know. These teams are sloths. And like all of a sudden, you just have to pretty much hope for not even missed shots because no matter how many threes they put up or whatever it is, if the defenses are on, which they have been, I'm taking the under off of extended rest. So maybe coming a little bit too fat and happy, especially Iowa coming off of that game. I like fading offenses, specifically teams that come off of just gigantic upsets, like almost a double digit seed, beating the number one seed, beating the defending champion. I mean, they got to be feeling pretty good about themselves, obviously. That's not saying that they're not have a chance to win this game because they absolutely do. I mean, they've already done it once. But the offense just might see a tad bit of aggression, obviously coming off of extended rest, coming off of more travel on top of that. These guys are gassed. I mean, it's Sweet 16. Like it's going to happen. And they got a long week ahead of them, obviously. So super low total that's already moved down 4 points. Not saying it's a guaranteed already, but I mean, I'm feeling good. So
And you deserve to feel good, man. You got great CLV there, getting closer to 135. You're down to 131 and a half. Now, again, we got to caveat these Rithmm recommendations by once again saying these are based on the current prices. So if Cade's holding it under 135, he doesn't like seeing the over 131 and a half, but he feels good because, again, you got a better number here before it fell a ton. And to your point, you look at DraftKings right now, 78% of bets are going over in this game, yet the total fell. Great indicator there of smart money going under. Circa 63% bets, 78% dollars going under. So wise guys in the desert like this under. Then I always, try to, as we can, as much as we can on the show, don't just look at the model and just, look at what the number is and the over, the under, but click it and check it out because 133.3, Cade, you're still going to win. You're under 135. 136.7, that's a little bit higher. And then 133.9. So again, based on the current prices, you can make a case that this line has fallen, a degree of, 4 or 5 points almost. And therefore it creates an opportunity to buy low and go over. But man, you're sitting pretty here getting that good number. And then also you mentioned something that was important to me, conference dogs, because both these teams in the Big Ten,
big time.
They're playing each other for now. What is it? The third or fourth time this year. Historically speaking, like again, baseball's coming back, baseball divisional dogs, NFL divisional dogs, college football conference dogs, college hoop conference dogs. When you are playing a team that you know pretty well, that just automatically, and again, doesn't mean you're going to win every time, but that is a benefit to the underdog because the team getting points, built-in familiarity, you know your opponent pretty well, you know what to expect, you know how to match up, you have a lot of institutional knowledge playing these teams multiple times per year. Therefore, that would lean toward Iowa here. So again, I never, ever, ever want to disregard a Green Star Smart Signal, which is the Nebraska money line. But I would just mention public's on Nebraska, lines going to Iowa. Again, if you got, 2.5 or better, I think you're feeling good about this Iowa play. But again, we got to respect the fact that Rithmm is saying buy low here on Nebraska. So we'll see what happens in this one here, Cade. Keep on cruising. Next one we have here is Arkansas and Arizona. Cade, this line is moving as well, my friend. We got the 4 seed Arkansas, number 1 seed Arizona. We are seeing line movement, however, toward the dog. This is very interesting because a lot of these books opened with Arizona, mostly listed around -8.5. I did see one book, Cade, I think opened maybe 9 or 9.5, quickly got down to 8.5. Now we're seeing a few books down to 8 or even 7.5 now. So this is a pretty clear line move toward Arkansas. What I like about Arkansas even more is the fact that it's a 50-50 ticket split. Like basically it's down the middle, yet you're seeing the line move toward Arkansas. So unless it's a, injury. We had a suspension to an Alabama player earlier. The Jefferson guy in Iowa State was a questionable call, and then he was ruled out. So there are injuries and things that can move numbers, but it's pretty clear here this line is dropping toward Arkansas. You look over at Circa, Arkansas is getting 54% of bets, but 69% of spread dollars. So it tells you the wise guys out in the desert also looking toward Arkansas on the points. We look at these rhythm system matches, Cade, all or most at least leaning toward Arkansas. Now, this first model is Arizona minus 8.1. But here's the thing. If you go to shop for the best line, you can still get an 8.5 here at a couple books. Novig, Kalshi, BetMGM, the score. You can still get the best number, which is key here. Because if you're going Arkansas, got to get the 8.5. Second model, Arkansas plus 7.4. You're getting 8.5. Rhythm is predicting 7.4. It's a full point edge there on the Razorbacks. Third model, Arkansas plus 7.3. So even though the line has already fallen, 9.5, 9, some of those outlier book openers, mostly 8.5 down to 7.5, even though it's moved, still could be some value here to take the points with Arkansas. I'm also going to say, Cade, dog who can score system match. If you're going to cover a number for me and you're going to play Arizona, you got to score. And you're looking at Acuff and all these guys, 90 points per game. So hopefully keep pace, backdoor cover. You got the Calipari factor, a guy who's been there and done that. So you should get some good coaching. There is a one-day rest advantage for Arkansas. Not that it's hugely important, but they last played March 21st versus the 22nd for the Wildcats. Ken Palm has Arizona winning by 8. So important here that you get the hook with the 8.5. But Arkansas does have the better effective field goal percentage, 15th versus 44th. Better turnover percentage. They take care of the ball. They're actually number one in the country at not turning it over versus 77th for the Wildcats. Better three-point percentage, 10th versus 44th. Better free throw shooting, 81st versus 120th. So I'm going I'm going Arkansas on the points here, Cade. I think you can still get an 8.5. Again, it's not all green star lit up here. There's some reasons to be a little cautious, but you really dig deeper. The line is clearly going toward Arkansas. And again, Rithmm is saying it's basically around a 7.4 game-ish. So I'll toss it to you, Cade. What do you think? Can Acuff, Calipari, can they keep this game close and cover the number against a really good Arizona team?
Like I don't really can't count how many words it is, but Calipari as a dog. Enough said. Blank check. That's all you got to say. This dude, I would know. Believe me. Hello. Trust me.
Attaboy.
I may meh. University may not like the guy. I love the guy personally, but regardless, the dude is a dog, just dream crusher, basically. When you put him as a dog, he comes out of nowhere and just I don't even know what it is. I don't know if the speech has changed in the locker room. I don't know what it is. I don't know if the process changes or what. They're all right. Here we go. Hold on. I found it. They've been listed as an underdog in the tournament 13 times, 9-3-1 against the spread, going 7-0-1 while with Arkansas and Kentucky, and then 7-1 as a dog of 4 points or higher. So in the NCAA tournament or the SEC tournament, regardless of Kentucky or Arkansas, as a total, he is 11-0 against the spread as an underdog. 11-0. 7.5 is a lot of points. I got 9.5. So we're good. I'm fine again.
Well done, buddy.
It's his biggest line. I did some research on this just because seeing this team as a dog kind of or at least this big. I was honestly expecting 4 or a 5. To see a 9 as the opener, I understand. Arizona, Tommy Lloyd, great program, great team. Arkansas's defense has some issues. Arizona offense has some clear advantage. Understand. But 9, let's be serious. This is not a home game for Arizona. This is on a neutral court. We can remember that. It is his biggest line ever since he was with UMass in the tournament. Preface by saying that first. He's played in almost 90 tournament games, and this is the largest line ever as a dog that he's ever had. This team alone is one of the better ones that he's probably had, arguably, regardless of what it is. Acuff, one of the best guards he's ever had. Again, hello, I'm not biased here. The kid's insane. I like Arizona a lot. I like Tommy Lloyd a lot. I like what they've done. I'm not saying Arkansas wins outright here, but 9 is just incredibly disrespectful, I think. And for those who want to take Arizona, maybe look into a team total, but just do not play the spread. Like, please, just please don't take it out like to win by double digits. I like you can if you want, and then I'll gladly hold my head high when if they actually do blow them out of the water. I simply don't see it. Like the offenses together, like they're both going to put up points. That's why I'm mainly expecting it to be competitive because Arizona's defense isn't something to just like foam out the mouth over and just like go drilling saying they absolutely shut them down because they're not. Arizona's offense, however, against Arkansas's defense would be a different case, but it's not worth 9 points. That shouldn't be that big of an edge. And yeah, every number that I had and made for that matter was 7 or lower. So immediately on the opener of 9.5, had to take it. And yeah, again, this is another team that I'm also slightly hedging on again, but number blew me away. It's a hedge, but it's a play at the same time.
No, great call, man. And I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to show you how young you are, how old I am. I'm from Massachusetts, of course. Grew up in Western Mass, Berkshire County. I went to the University of Vermont. My safety school was UMass. And did you know, or you weren't even a live kid, I don't think, but
Wasn't
Marcus
even
Camby. I remember when I was young.
Oh yeah,
I was born in '87. When they went to the '96 Final Four,
yeah,
it was like insanity. Like the love, the belief. It was like Patriots Super Bowl for those of us in New England. So just goes to show you this guy's been everywhere. He's won. Shout out to you for getting that great number on Calipari as a dog. It's almost like our Mike Tomlin as a dog, which Cade. Sadly, we got no
right.
Tomlin as a dog this year because he's gone. But I'm right there with you. This line's going Arkansas. Arizona is a great team, deservedly so. But I think if you want to win, this time of year, good coach and a star player. Like remember Kemba Walker for UConn. There's all these great teams that you have this star player that just elevates everybody, and you got a coach who knows what he's doing. That's Arkansas. So to your point, I'm right there with you. I'm not going Arkansas money line. I'm not going to blame anyone who does. I'd love to see you cash that outright, just like with Iowa against Florida. I didn't have the stones to go Iowa money line, but I thought there was value at the 10.5, and I think I'm right there with you here with the value on Arkansas. So you got at 9.5. I got 8.5. I think you can. I just checked. There's a couple books still at 8.5. A lot of them though are getting down to 7.5. So that is a good sign. Not great if you didn't get the good number, but a good sign. This line keeps going toward Arkansas. So loving the Razorbacks here. Definitely try to get that 8.5 if you can. Next one here, Cade. Let's go to another game with some clear Rithmm recommendations. Illinois and Houston. Now, should be a great matchup here. We got two really good teams. Number 3, Illinois. Number 2, Houston. But what I think what is pretty clear to just based upon quickly looking at this Rithmm recommendation column is that Illinois to me is kind of the play in this one. Because if you look at what we're seeing across the board, and I will caveat this by saying this, Cade, the game's in Houston. So this scares me a little bit to go Illinois just because the crowd we saw in that Miami, Ohio game, which by the way, you were at and had some great seats, and we got Miami, Ohio in that one, how a local crowd with all the support can be, it can be beneficial. But when the Sharps know that, and they know that this team has a huge advantage, yet they go the other way anyway, that to me is almost like, that pure, sharp action there that isn't scared or afraid that one team is going to get a way better home court advantage. What's notable to me, though, Cade, is that, this line doesn't really want to move too much. Right now, you're getting 65% of spread bets at DraftKings going with Houston. So Houston is the pretty public play. It's obvious that they're a good team with a short number in their own backyard. You can make a case that, hey, why pass that up? But you're mostly -3s, haven't really moved off of 3. You're 2.5 up to 3. If you're getting 2/3 of bets, this is your 10 o'clock game tomorrow night, you would think you'd be up to, 3.5, 4. I mean, I would expect this line to move further toward Houston, but it really hasn't. This is where it gets good, though. All these indicators are on Illinois plus the points. So if we look at KenPom, he has Houston winning by 1 point. So if you can shop around, again, there's a lot of 2.5s out there, easily available, but I think you can get a 3 if you look around, which is what I did, jumped on Illinois plus 3. KenPom's got a 1-point game. You're getting the dog plus 3. You combine that with the fact that all of these Rithmm recommendations are lighting up on Illinois. First model, the house model, has Illinois plus 2.2. Again, you can get a 2.5 or 3. Second model, Illinois plus 1.2. And then the third model, Green Star, plus 1.2 as well. So anytime you can combine a Ken Palm edge with a Rithmm edge on a dog that is fishy and contrarian, to me that's a good opportunity to take the dog plus the points. DraftKings only 35% bets, 50% of the money is going with Illinois. They're a dog who can score system match. Illinois' offense has been great, 85 points per game. Houston only scores 78 a game. They play great defense, of course, but maybe Illinois can score enough to keep pace in this one. Illinois has the better offensive efficiency, second in the country versus 10th for Houston. Better effective field goal percentage, better 3-point shooting, better free throw shooting. I'm looking at +3 Illinois here, Cade. And if you're feeling spicy, not a huge, it's not like a +500 or anything, but we got some money line recommendations, all three of which are on Illinois, saying, maybe you want to be a little bold. Again, no pain, no gain. You got to risk it if you want to profit. And Cade, you do a great job of going money line. When I go spread, and I'm happy with my spread, but I get jealous because I could have went money line. But I like Illinois in this spot. Line freeze-ish, Ken Palm edge, contrarian, fishy play. Rithmm says take Illinois. Let me toss it to you, Cade. Thoughts on Illinois Houston?
Another one where I have like a hedge opportunity, but it's more so just a full-on play for me. I was able to get 3.5 on Illinois at Caesar. I forget when that was. I was pretty close to opening because at one point the line kind of did go up from like a flat 3, kind of came back down to a flat 3, and then ultimately now 2.5 majority. But yeah, still some flat 3s it looks like, which I would still take. I kind of am a little bit weary / a little nervous, I guess, about the Houston location of this game. I think it's still an advantage, obviously, with it not being their actual home court. And honestly, it might be worth a point if I have to say something, honestly, because just after that Miami game, night and day. Like it's like I know you guys could hear on the TV, but physically in the building, oh my God. Like I was expecting a good amount of red, but like those two locations are like an hour from each other. And Miami's never been a basketball school, and just the amount of like random fans, I don't know if they are fans, they might have been fans. It's insane. So nonetheless, they show up. Houston, who is a basketball school, who has consistently been a very, very, very good program under Sampson, they're going to show up for this game. I can guarantee you that much. Personally, though, where I found a little bit of value was where, on a power rating standpoint, especially on a neutral court, there's really not that much separating them. And clearly, Ken Palm thought the same. I'm very, very grateful to take a possession in this game, honestly, over a possession, if that. I think it's a favorable matchup in Illinois' favor because I think they have one of the best like offensive rebounding teams, like second chance teams in the country. Houston, who is very good defensively. They trap, they force turnovers, and they're very good at it. Like that's just Sampson's philosophy. If you guys have watched him or just watched his teams, period, they do the same thing year in, year out. It's just what Houston does. They're incredible at it. But Illinois doesn't turn the ball over that much. And in fact, their guard play is so good that they pretty much can play their offense through just about any of the 5 people on the court. Like they're like you've heard of the term stretch 4 from a power forward who is just athletic guy. How about like a stretch 5? Okay, like like they're everywhere. They're insane. And I think a little bit more is Houston on their defensive side. Here's the thing: if they don't force turnovers, they're not winning a game. And I think we found out very, very, very quick in the regular season and games against, trying to think off the top of my head, key losses. I think Kansas was one of those. Iowa State was another one, bad. They had a couple of duds in there too, where they just didn't execute in turnovers ability. Blank note, they're 19-0 when they forced at least 13 turnovers. And then they're 11-6 whenever they did not force at least 13 turnovers. 13's a lot of turnovers for a team that doesn't turn the ball over much. taking my chances, especially again over a possession. The only thing is, quick note, Illinois, they've only turned the ball over more than 13 times. Guess how many times?
Once.
That's it. So, good perimeter shooting team. I think that you have an offense that can pretty much find leaks in the Houston defense that is very vulnerable, and a defense that traps like Houston's. It's going to allow a lot of second chance opportunities. If you guys got doubling on the corners on the perimeter, especially on these bigger guys, that's going to open up that paint a lot for these 4 and the 5 spots where they can just crash on every shot that they take. And they just overall they rebound good. Like, I don't want to say it's just on the offensive side. They do it well, like all around. But Illinois' defense is, again, they're just as good as their offense is. They've only lost one game, you guys, since December, and it was by more than one possession. That's against Michigan. The other 5, they're in overtime. The other one, buzzer beater against Nebraska. They are a very good team, and I understand the Brad Underwood conversations. He cannot win a big game in March. This is the prove it game for me personally as well. I cannot believe that I honestly took it, but here we are. I'll take my chance with Underwood here. Again, I'm holding Houston futures as well, but again, a possession with a clear advantage from the models and from the projections itself. Leave it all out there for me.
I'm right there with you, man. Yeah, I actually just shopped around and I'm with you. I'm glad. I got jealous when you said 3.5, and I'm like, ooh, is there still a 3.5 out there? Well, BetMGM is plus 3.5 minus
Just
120.
Nice.
But Bally Bet, Kate, I just logged into Bally in Massachusetts where I'm at, plus 3.5 minus 118. So just put that in. And again, you set it up nicely. Yeah, it's going to be loud if Houston goes on a 7-0 run. That place, the roof is going to explode off that place. But got to go with the data. Got to go with the numbers. All these Rithmm models are saying Illinois. If you can get a 3.5, again, even a 3, but a 3.5 would be your best number. And in a game that's more maybe like 1 or 1.5, hey, that's a good value play to take. So let's go Illini, Cade. Next one for you. Let's get to the Dukies. We got Duke against St. John's here, Cade. This is a big one. It's going to be extremely heavily bet, and it kind of reminds me a little bit of the Texas Purdue game, where you don't even think about the bet splits, the line movement, and data analytics. If I, go to a drunk guy at the bar, I say the spread is 6.5, St. John's, Duke. Are you laying it or taking it? Everyone's going to say St. John's, take the points. Duke's a good team. We fully admit they barely got by Siena, by the way, which was, I think they were favored by closer to 30 in that game. Almost lost. St. John's is playing great. You got the Patino factor. It's a kind of quasi big number, 6.5. You might as well take the points, right? Well, this is the red flag trendy dog for me, St. John's. If you tell me you like St. John's, hey, I'm not going to blame you because you're getting decent amount of points on a really good team here with a great coach behind them. But as always, let's look at what the market's doing. Let's look at what Rithmm is predicting here, Cade. A lot of these books across the market, you open around Duke minus 6.5. Some books I thought I saw got up to 7 at one point, came back down to 6.5. Some of the juice is, or at least at a few books, mostly on the Duke side, minus 6.5, minus 115. But what's the kind of most important thing for me, Cade, is that the Johnny boys are getting 64% of spread tickets at DraftKings. So that tells us that a clear majority of bettors are taking not a favorite, laying it. And again, we gave the numbers earlier. Favorites are covering nearly 60% of the time. They're taking a dog who is extremely, extremely trendy. 2/3 of tickets on a dog automatically. If I want to play that dog, I'm going to say, nope, that's too popular. Because again, typically public wants to bet favorites when they load up on a dog. That's kind of that very clear bias that you typically want to go against. You go over at Circa, only 22% of spread bets on Duke, but nearly 50% of the money. Ken Palm has Duke winning by 8. If we look at Duke, they have some clear advantages here. As great as the St. John's team has been under Patino, Duke has the better offensive efficiency, 7th versus 42nd. Defensive efficiency, 1st versus 8th. Effective field goal percentage, 13th versus 197th. And Duke also has a one-day rest advantage. Last played March 21st versus the 22nd here for St. John's. Then we go to the system matches for this game, the predictions. All 3 of them are on Duke. Duke minus 6.7, Duke minus 6.5, Duke minus 7.5. That's our rundown model that we created. So am I brave enough to lay it with Duke minus 6.5, Cade? I'll be honest, I haven't bet it yet. But just seeing the fact that 2/3 of bets are on St. John's, but yet the line is not down to 6 or 5.5 or 5. If anything, it's juiced toward the Duke side. Gun to the head, I'd go Duke or nothing here. But let me toss it to you. What are your thoughts on Duke and the Johnny Boys?
I'll admit I got this one pretty early and expecting of the line to go the other way. I ended up with St. John's at a flat 7.
That's a good number.
There's only a little bit of like a conspiracy, not a conspiracy, but like a just I feel like I'm at like a dilemma with Duke because Shire specifically kind of feels like Underwood. You can't really like ever since Coach K left, it's like he can't get past the big one. And going up against a veteran coach like Pitino, they're both good coaches, but I mean Pitino, like he's the biggest brain in the game right now. Like if you don't think that this dude is like just sleepless, just drawing up plays left and right, or the defensive schemes to to shut down Duke's interior play, just because how incredible it has been. I think we see a very, very slow pace game and a very low scoring game. So that's mainly why I back St. John's. However, if you can, just because of where the splits are, look at a total and maybe go to an under. I don't know. That's kind of bad timing that they like the over, but St. John's, they are rebounding teams. They're old fashioned. That's Patino's bread and butter. Like if you don't rebound the ball, you don't win. That's like basically his motto kind of deal. Same thing on defense. If you're not forcing turnovers, you don't win. So this team crashes, they trap. Similar to like almost every old fashioned coach. I mean, you look at Danny Hurley, you look at Sampson, you look at Shire is one of them just because he's kind of shadowed under Coach K whenever he was an assistant with him. Just kind of did stuff a little bit differently as he's kind of developed into his own style of being a head coach, which has turned out great. But I think it could be a problem for Duke because they're 87th in rim efficiency defense, and that's at just like a second percentile frequency. So, like, I mean, they're top 10 nationally in foul rate, so they foul like crazy. They rebound the ball like crazy. So, I mean, you have to beat the Duke defense at the top, which is like their guard play, which that's not St. John's bread and butter. You know, like they get inside, they feed the big guys, get in the post and score some points for me. They don't really use the guard. I mean, they use the guards to an extent, sure, but it's all about transition, though. I mean, like Duke, they limit that kind of opportunity. 9th percentile frequency. I mean, if you want to go to zone, go to zone. They did it against Siena. Look what happened in that game. They were down by like almost 10 to 15. It was the largest gap that they've had all year long. And like the moment that he goes to zone, that game flipped like a pancake. Complete night and day difference from the first and the second half. And we clearly saw it coming, obviously. And now he does that against St. John's. Guess what St. John's is not good at offensively? Going against zone defenses. I'm worried that I have the St. John's number, but I'm glad that I have the best number, which is my second point. I just think this is going to be a nasty, gritty, bloody battle on the inside because you guys got like Boozer, and these guys are going up against like gladiators on the St. John's side, dude. It's insane. I think it's going to just come down to Duke's offense because in their half court, I think they have a much easier path than St. John's does for one. Like I said, I got my flat 7, but if you haven't bet anything in this game, side related or anything like that, I think you can play an under safely here, personally. And then you have the defense of Duke dominating kind of the first half. But then obviously once Duke has a lead, they're not going to let that go. Because in games like these now, they don't care how much they win by. They just want to win, get out, move on to the next round, and just go home for the night. They don't care. Like it's once you have a lead, you better protect that thing because and who knows? I mean, Pitino might flip a switch offensively and start something, but weird game. I honestly I didn't expect the line to go that way. So, but yeah, right now Johnny's flat 7 for me.
Yeah, and again, you got a good number. You got a 7, games at 6.5. Cade, you did your part here, regardless of where it goes now. Again, it goes up to 7. You're not feeling as good. Gets down to 6. You're feeling great holding a 7 there. So we'll see how it develops over the next couple days. This is another example here with this total where I would agree with you and go under here because it did fall. It was like 143, 142 and a
Yeah.
half, down to 141 and a half. At DraftKings, only 30% bets, but half the money is on the under. And you're looking at two great defensive teams. Duke's number 1 defensive efficiency, St. John's is number 8. So if the public is leaning over, but the total is dropping, and we have two great defensive teams, again, and also the other angle here we haven't really mentioned is like, these are additionally different gyms that we're going to. These are not the gyms that were in the first two rounds. So it's another neutral court under, different sight line, typically favors the under. However, we must admit, again, Rithmm is saying buy low on the over. Predicted 145, predicted 144.1, predicted 144.8. So again, this is a kind of a hard game to handicap. But my biggest thing here, Kate, is that it's hard for me to take St. John's just because they're public. If this was like, maybe there was a St. John's Green Star, the case would be a little different for me. The other angle, Kate, I must admit, my wife went to St. John's. So, we're going to want to watch this game together. And if I'm cheering on Duke and they got to win by 7, and again, this is not the reason why you should bet on or against the team. I'm telling you, this is just personal to me. But, she's going to celebrate, and you are too. The Johnny boys went outright, and I'll be laying a 6.5 with Duke. That's going to be a tough night for me in the Applebaum household. So I'll lay off, but we'll see what happens with this one. But I do like that under with you. Keep on cruising. Next one. Let's go to Alabama and Michigan, because this is another game where we're seeing a pretty clear line move in the direction of the dog. Bama here comes in number 4, Michigan number 1. We have seen this line go toward Bama, though, because Michigan opened at quite a few shops as high as minus 10.5. We're now down to Michigan minus 9.5. Cade, I thought I saw a couple books, maybe, I guess 9s, 8.5s even. DraftKings is down to 8.5. So this line is falling quite a bit. Now, Bet Rivers Kalshi, you can get a better number here. But it's notable that the line's going toward Bama in the points. It tells me that, hey, maybe this is another situation like that Arkansas game against Arizona, where Arizona's a great team. It's very actually kind of weirdly, ironically, almost the same exact example of a 1 seed that's a really good team, but it's a big number and that's going away from them. Thinking about, hey, maybe the dog doesn't win, but that's just a lot of points to lay, which would make you like the dog plus the points. But the line's going toward Bama. Over at Circa, Alabama, 70% spread bets, 85% spread dollars. So that's interesting to me that in Vegas, they are very heavy on Alabama plus the points. Now, Ken Palm has Alabama winning has Michigan winning by 8 points. So if you can get that 9.5, hey, decent little edge there. Bama would be a dog who can score system match, 92 points per game. We know Bama doesn't play much defense. They lost the kid who got suspended, Holloway. It hasn't really hurt them so far. You look at Bama offensive efficiency, 3rd versus 6th. There's also a very, very high total. 173.5. You don't really see a lot of totals that high in college. Bama takes better care of the ball. Turnover percentage on offense, 10th versus 165th for Michigan. Better free throw shooting, 41st versus 96th. And then here's where it gets even better if you want to take the points with Bama. This model isn't really with you. It's Michigan minus 9.4, but these two are with you. Alabama plus 7.5, a Green Star recommended play with a 2-point edge. Pretty good. And then the last model, plus 7.2. So if we are in a good split at Circa and we have a 2-point edge, basically a bucket edge with some pretty good advantages here, especially on offense. Again, maybe Michigan wins, but can they just win by ideally, 9 or less? I'm looking at the points here with Bama, Cade. What are you doing with Bama and Michigan?
If I can be completely honest, I want zero part of a side in this game, honestly. As contrarian as I am, I could see Bama getting blown out of the water by at least like 20, given the circumstance, or strictly because it's March and there has to be a really, really shocking game, Bama might make it super competitive and this might come down to the wire. I don't know. They literally cannot miss a single shot, though, it feels like, the way people are talking about this game, apparently. Again, I haven't done really any dive work at all into this just because of I saw the number. I know Bama's shorthanded. I know the public is insanely heavy on Michigan, and rightfully so. Obviously, I mean, like, I guess how can you not? But again, the contrarian in me, and like, I have to lean Bama, but like, it doesn't mean I have to absolutely bet it. I don't know. It's I can't. I really can't pull the trigger on it. And as much as I wanted to, it feels like last year. Like Bama, you it's really funny because it's literally college basketball at its finest. They made, and I read this in an article earlier today, they made a tournament record, most 3-pointers in a tournament game last year. It was 25. It was against BYU. The very next game, they played the 1 seed, which was Duke at the time. You want to talk about regression? 8 for 32 from the 3-point, and then lose by 24, I think is what it was. I mean, like, this could be like the same case. I mean, I get, again, ultimately, I have nothing in this game. For whatever reason, I think it's honestly kind of weird. Both teams have actually already played in United Center already this year. And Michigan obviously had their Big Ten tournament there. But I don't know, man. I don't think I can pull it. Like, as much as I want to, maybe. The total's high. I hate playing these neutral court like overs, if that even makes any sense at all. I just don't want any part of it. But again, contrarian lean has to be Bama.
No, I'm with you, man. And Michigan's a team that I've had a lack of success with betting on or against this year because, in particular, betting against, I remember a few times throughout the regular season, I would take the dog, getting a few points at home against Michigan. Michigan would roll and beat me. So they're really, really good. And you got to just be aware of, hey, at any point in time, they could roll and you might get crushed with your dog play. That being said, I'll take Bama in the points because it kind of reminds me of that Iowa-Florida game, Cade, where it was around a double-digit spread and the line kind of started dropping toward the dog versus a one-seeded team that felt like a behemoth, a juggernaut. So who knows if David slays Goliath and Bama wins outright? Very unlikely. Again, they're huge on the money line. But I think I'm going to take the 9.5 here. I'm trying to hold out for a 10 because I'm wondering if, when we get closer to Friday, will the Michigan money pour in, which obviously you don't want if you're going Bama here. But the fact that you are getting a high scoring team, getting a lot of points in a high total game, and Rithmm is saying, this should be closer to a 7.5 game. I think I'll go Bama here and take the points there with the Crimson Tide. Only 2 more, Kate. This is fun. We're almost done. Next one, Michigan State, UConn. Great matchup here. 2 great coaches, Izzo and Hurley, facing off. It's a very, very short number. And there has been quite a bit of movement on this game, mostly due toward the Connecticut side. I saw one book that actually opened Michigan State, maybe -1, a pick'em game, or maybe a very short Connecticut -1. Well, Connecticut's now up to -1.5. Some books are UConn -2. So it looks like, from a market perspective, that this line is going toward the Huskies. You look at the splits here; they look pretty good on UConn. DraftKings 46% bets, 54% dollars on the Huskies. Over at Circa, 53% bets, 78% dollars on the Huskies. So that's a pretty good that Circa split there. Gets me kind of excited to go UConn in this spot. UConn is the better effective field goal percentage, 35th versus 66th. Better defense efficiency, just slightly. They're both great defensive teams, 11th versus 13th. Better effective field goal percentage, 8th versus 53rd, are holding their opponent, making it harder on them to make shots. Effective field goal percentage and turnovers forced on defense, 99th versus 297th. We look at these Rithmm recommendations, and they're kind of all over the place. I mean, first one has UConn -1.2. Second model has basically UConn -0.7. Third model has UConn -0.9. Now, if you want to go Michigan State in the plus 1.5, you might be able to get a +2. This, I must admit, because I'm on UConn money line here, Cade, but I must admit the quote unquote Ken Palm sound the alarm. Ken Palm has Michigan State winning this game by 1 point. So you can make a pretty good case that, hey, if you can get Sparty +1.5, +2, Ken Palm's got him winning the game, leave everything else to the side. That's just straight good value. Getting a dog +1.5, 2 when they should win the game by 1. I'll back Hurley in this spot. I like the line movement toward UConn, but the key for me is there's no way I'm laying 1.5 or 2. We've talked about this ad nauseum on the pod. This is a money line short favorite play for me. So if you can get, around -130-ish, -125 for the Huskies, again, not a perfect play. This is, again, you can tell by the line, Cade, like opening one way or the other, you're 1.5. It's still a very, very tight spread, expecting a back and forth, tight, close game. But I'll back UConn just based on the line move and at least some of these models, if you're on the money line, saying they should maybe win by a point or 1.5. Let me toss it to you, though. What do you think? This is a tough one. You like UConn money line? You like Sparty plus the points, or maybe you have something on the total? What do you think about Huskies and Spartans?
Yeah, I am on UConn. I am on UConn as well here.
Nice.
I think they do two things very well that Michigan State is very good at, or usually that a lot of teams haven't been able to really do, which is just be better in transition than Izzo is, which Izzo's teams thrive in transition. They're incredible. And if you can limit all second chances, because Michigan State's big men, one of the best, consistently best, like second chance teams in the country year in, year out. UConn, they're great at pretty much defending both of those kind of factors in a way. I think there's a couple of things that go into it for UConn's key to win, and I think it's one, stay out of foul trouble for one. Two, cannot turn the ball over. Again, I know, shocker, right? Another one of these teams with a legendary head coach who's old-fashioned, forces a lot of turnovers. Done again. No, I mean, this game is going to be beautiful to watch, honestly. Like two of the greatest minds going at it. It's honestly amazing. The only downside to backing UConn for me, I think Michigan State has been very good from like a shooting perspective, which is honestly rare to see because mainly you see them kind of winning their games by their defense, but they've been putting up points, they've been scoring, they've been shooting really good numbers percentage wise. I think UConn's going to have their hands full a little bit. But nonetheless, again, given the line move, given the projections and the models, backing UConn on the money line short, favorite money line from Rithmm again, like we pretty much preach everybody through all year long, obviously. I'm also holding a couple futures on Michigan State to reach the Final Four and Elite Eight. So slight hedge there, but again, data and edges apply to UConn. So I'm on UConn.
Love it. And then, Cade, is there a prop bet on Fears punching someone in the you-know-what? I'm sure that's probably a pretty good bet. Like, what's that guy's deal? There's so many games I've watched where it's like
it's the Grayson Allen, dude. I'm telling you.
Grayson Allen 2.0. Good point. Yeah, that's the name I was looking for there. Totally agree with you. But yeah, should be a great game. Again, to me, you said it perfectly. The line movement, money lining a short favorite. Going with Hurley. To me, that's the play here. So I'm with you. Let's go UConn. Win the damn game. Now, final game of the March Madness Sweet 16 here, Cade, which actually is moving as we're doing this live stream because I just saw Tennessee at a few books go down from 4.5 to 3.5. And I just grabbed Tennessee very, very fast. Plus 4.5 at Ballybet -115. Because nice. I'm like, I'll put it in after the show. I'll just kind of, quietly, slowly do it. No, this is the thing about sports betting. You like a side, you like a number, you better jump on that before it moves because you'll regret it if, Tennessee loses by 4 and you were late to the party and couldn't get the hook on the 4.5. But wrapping it all up here, Cade, Tennessee and Iowa State. Tennessee is your 6. Iowa is your 2. Iowa State. And there really wasn't much movement. Like Iowa State at one point was kind of just sitting at 4.5. Like, hadn't really gone up or down very much. You're looking at the public, however, going Iowa State. Public seems to really like the Cyclones. They're getting 63% of spread bets at DraftKings. there wasn't a big line move, or it was a little bit of a kind of a line freeze play here. But what I remember just prepping for the show and looking at these Rithmm models over the last couple of days is that Rithmm liked Tennessee quite a bit here. You look at the models: Tennessee plus 3.2, Tennessee plus 3.3, Volunteers plus 3.7. Now, as the betting market always is changing and evolving, it was 4.5 pretty much everywhere when we started the show. It's down to 3.5. But again, shopping for the best line, you can find still. You want to do it right now. If you like Tennessee here, and I'm excited to hear your take on this one, Cade, you better get that 4.5 as soon as you can. I just got plus 4.5 minus 115 at Bally Bet. But it's your 10-10 game on a Friday night. It's your heavily bet. Drunk guys at the bar pounding shots. They're saying Iowa State's going to crush them. So you have a contrarian opportunity on a game prime time on TBS to take the 37% side, which is Tennessee. This is now becoming an official. Like before, this line got down to 3.5. It was kind of just a value play for me. Ken Palm had him by 4. Rhythm's got him around 3.5. You can get a 4.5 value play, contrarian play. Now it's becoming a clear RLM play because the line is now down at most shops to 3.5, even though 2/3 of bets are on Iowa State. We look at Tennessee's offensive rebound percentage, first in the country versus 35th for Cyclones. Effective field goal percentage allowed, 34th versus 84th. And also, probably Jefferson will play Cade, but he rolled his ankle pretty bad. I mean, if he plays, these kids are young, modern medicine. He missed the last game. I assume he's going to suit up. But again, that's kind of an X factor. One of your best players on Iowa State could be compromised a bit. But when I saw all these recommendations on Tennessee and just started to see that line fall, kind of really pushed me over the edge to take Volunteers plus 4.5 Cade. So, of course, if you like it, again, you got to shop around and make sure you find a 4.5 because there's only a couple 4.5s left. Polymarket, MGM, The Score, Bally Bet. But let me toss it to you. Do you like the Vols and the points here, or maybe are you going in a different direction?
I'm all in with you here, big time.
Nice.
Also got the 4.5.
Oh boy.
Through minus 110 MGM. That was pretty close to maybe like a day after open. I don't know. I faded Iowa State last week also with I backed Iowa State last week because why in the world was this the same line? Like honestly, as a fan, unfortunately, I'm really bold wearing this quarter zip right now. I'll be completely honest with you. Probably shouldn't be wearing it on the stream. That's a bold move by me. I'm surprised we haven't got any comments just absolutely slandering my name right now. Regardless, appreciate you guys. To have the same line as Kentucky and pretty much the same game. I mean, obviously Kentucky beat Tennessee twice, blah, blah, blah. Jefferson was out, projecting to still be out. I'm just not confident in TJ to win a big one. Again, the thing is, like, Kentucky was a team that was also up by like 10, 12, I think, at one point in the first half. And then Iowa State goes on a run. They turn the ball over a ton of times at the end of that first half. And all of a sudden, they're leading by, I think it was literally just like a 1-point lead heading into half. And then ultimately, I mean, I don't know what it was that second half outscoring wise, but dude, what an embarrassment that was in the second half. It was 51-33. Like, they exploded. And here's the thing. Let me see. Sorry, I just completely lost my page. Whoops. Again, no Jefferson hurts this team so much. Kentucky just can't figure out a way to pretty much find an advantage with that. And for some unknown reason, Pope decides to put his bench players in a 10-point lead, and that lead just goes poof. Rick Barnes is not stupid to do that, for one thing. It's a tournament game. These things matter, and you have to play your guys. I don't care if they play all 40 minutes. Multiple teams are playing guys 40 minutes right now. And without Jefferson in that lineup, there's no way logistically I can get to the same number unless if he's worth absolutely nothing and he actually just plays this game and he's just like a decoy. That'd be it. He's one of the best players in the league, right, in the country, period. And I mean, like, again, a team that turns the ball over a lot, Iowa State in that case, Tennessee, shocker, they're not that great at pretty much protecting the ball. They turn the ball over just as much, if not maybe more than Kentucky does. Um, I'm lost for words that we have this number still, honestly. I think it's pretty simple game plan, though. Get shots up, crash offensive glass. They are number one in that category for a reason. And I mean, sure, Iowa State, phenomenal defense. I'll give it to them. But I mean, like, late game push, I'm going to take the Vols to win outright late, I think, in this case.
Ooh,
There's
love
no
it.
future in line, but it's just the line. I cannot make it make sense to me after watching what happened last week. There's no way that we see the same thing. Rick Barnes is not Mark Pope. He is way smarter than that. 4.5 feels like a gift to me. And I had a couple models say 2. So I'm going to take my chance and take a full possession edge again. And obviously, yeah, I don't know. I can't get there. So Tennessee 4.5, Tennessee money line. One of these dogs has to win, right? I mean, come on. It's got like let's make it the late night one. A good old Friday night midnight cash. That would be electric. Yeah.
Yeah, and again, to me, again, the fact that you are seeing this line get back toward Tennessee, great indicator there that the big money is pouring in on the Vols, even though Iowa is a very popular team with the betting public. So, kind of a great market indicator there. Which again, have those multiple outs. It's important
Right.
this time of year, but all year long, you got to have more outs and be able to shop for the best price. Because if it's a close game, and this has happened to all of us, if you bet sports long enough, you get a 4.5. They lose by 4. You're happy. You celebrate. You cover. You get a 3.5. They lose by 4. You want to smash your window and break something because you missed by a hook or a point there. So super, super important. And Rithmm does a great job of making it very easy for us to not only find the best price overall, but then when you're ready to make your bet, boom, it'll connect you directly to the sportsbook, giving you the best price. So you can still get 4.5 at Polymarket, the Score, and BetMGM. So that about does it, Cade. We ran through every single Sweet 16 game, tried to find the best Rithmm plays available here, and I thought we did a pretty good job of it. So very excited for the next couple days. My one complaint, Cade, I'm going to do it again. The start times. Why do we have one game at 7 and then 7:30? And then
What are we?
9:30, 10. Why don't you do standalones? I started earlier. Give me a 4 o'clock, 7, 10. I don't know, but either way, we're gonna have to sweat these games no matter what. So
Yeah.
when you and I are commissioner of sports, we're gonna think about these start times based on what's best for the betters,
Wonderful.
which should be the way it always is. But want to thank everybody, Kate. Excellent job, my man. Next time we talk, we'll be thinking about the Elite Eight at that point. Pretty soon, the Final Four championship. Hope everyone's survivors are still up and running here. But as always, want to thank everyone for tuning in. Remember, Rithmm is here for you for all these games. Rithmm is here for you for Major League Baseball, which is getting started tonight and definitely getting started tomorrow with all these great games. So check out the Rithmm app. Go download it in the App Store. Give it a 5-star review and tell a friend who might, be maybe new into sports or bets based on just a feel, which is usually not a good thing. Introduce them to data. Introduce them to finding edges and thinking about numbers and not teams, which was what wise guys always like to do. But take us home, Cade. Any final thoughts before the madness resumes for tomorrow?
I mean, what a weekend, right? I mean, Thursday, opening day, and then you have Sweet 16 / Elite 8 and the weekend again. I can't ask for more than that, right? I mean, so as sports fans, you got to cherish these stuff. It's one of the best months in the year for a reason. So, obviously, like you said it perfectly, Rithmm has your back across all these sports. So we've pretty much laid out the foundation for you doing the show, and hopefully we've kind of taken a little bit of notes. I think we've done pretty well. So we'll keep it rolling and then look for big Final Four on the next show, probably.
Yeah, can't wait, man. Well said. So good luck, everybody. Hope you have a great Sweet 16, Final Four. And again, baseball's here. So just know and remember that Rithmm has you covered with MLB. And pretty soon, Cade, WNBA, I think will be on the Rhythm app once that. I think it was that like I think it's closer to March or no, it's like May maybe. I know they signed that CBA, but anyway, doesn't matter. Good luck, everybody. Have a great night. We'll see you next week for another edition of the Rhythm Rundown with myself, Josh Applebaum, my partner in crime, Mr. Cade Harper. Good luck and enjoy the madness.